Well, good afternoon, and thank you for coming out today. I want to start out by talking a little bit about the PSR history. There's a lot of misperceptions out there about the program, and I thought it might be helpful if I talk about how it got started, how it evolved, and what it is today. And the important part of that is what it is today. So who you see on the stage with me are several of our professionals, responders, and I've asked them to be here today so they can answer your questions about what they do, what contributions they make to the department. And as you're going to hear, they make several contributions to this department, and we could absolutely not function without them. And so also what you see behind me are all of our division commanders, and they, each of them utilize the PSRs extensively, and they will also be able to speak to the contributions of our professional service responders. As I go through this history, it's an effort to clarify a number of misperceptions in the public and in media reports about the status of this program and the character of its members. At all times, the members of this program, some of which stand here with me today, abided by what Sheriff's Management told them and believed that their status and what they were given, i.e. identification and badges, was completely within the law. The members of the professional services responders are dedicated volunteers who offer immeasurable support in their individual areas of expertise to the men and women of the Orange County Sheriff's Department, and have never been in it for the badge or anything else this department could give them. Just prior to July 1st, 1999, then Sheriff Corona appointed 86 individuals to the position of Administrative Level 3 Reserves. They were appointed prior to July 1st, 1999 in an effort by Sheriff's Management to circumvent new and more rigorous standards that were being imposed that date by the Peace Officers Standards and Training Board, commonly referred to as POST. This is the state board that regulates the training requirements and standards for peace officers in the state of California. These individuals were issued badges identical to those issued to sworn personnel, and some were issued uniforms. Later, it was determined that the backgrounds on these individuals were incomplete and therefore rendered their appointments invalid by POST. In October of 1999, another group of individuals were promised the chance to become Level 4 reserves if they underwent a background investigation and a minimal amount of training. Again, POST took exception with these appointments, as Level 4 is not a valid reserve designation. There is a Level 1, Level 2, and Level 3, but no Level 4. The name of the program was changed from Level 4 Reserves to Professional Services Reserve. During this time, a number of different badges were issued to participants, including the standard Deputy Sheriff badge, some with the rank of Lieutenant and Captain, a Technical Services Reserve badge, and a Professional Services Reserve badge. Again, all conform to the standard shape and size of the badge issued to Deputy Sheriffs. In 2003, Sheriff's Department personnel initiated an audit of the background investigations and training of reserves and PSRs and found many of them to be deficient. Following a lengthy process, all investigations and training were brought to POST standards. As a result of this audit, the Reserve Division was no longer permitted to conduct their own investigations. This responsibility, as well as the task of badge issuing, was assigned to the Professional Standards Division. The responsibility to monitor reserve training was given to Training Division. In 2005, the Reserve Division was reorganized to include a broader range of volunteers and was renamed the Community Services Division, and that's what we have today. All of the issued badges were recalled, and new Professional Services Responder badges were issued. Over 40 of the badges recalled at that time were reported lost or stolen. So these are not the badges that I just asked to be recalled. These were recalled under the prior administration, and that's when 40 were reported lost or stolen. Shortly after taking office, I reviewed the PSR program and the California Attorney General opinion issued July 30th, 2007, governing the issuance of badges. In making my decision to collect the badges from the PSRs, I relied on the portion of the opinion which states as follows. A sheriff's gift of an honorary badge to a private citizen violates California law if the badge falsely purports to be authorized or would deceive an ordinary, reasonable person into believing that it is authorized for use by a peace officer. Some in the program have argued that the badges they were given were not honorary, but earned, in that they took extensive courses and signed an oath of office. I can understand why they might feel that way, based on the genesis of the program and the attempt by Sheriff's Management to circumvent post requirements and to create a reserve classification that never existed. My decision to recall the badges has nothing to do with the PSR program or the individuals who are part of this program. It has everything to do with following the law as it currently exists. Our professional service responders are an integral part of this department. They offer countless hours of their time and lend their valuable expertise in the noble endeavor of providing the residents of Orange County with superior law enforcement services. By doing this, they not only serve the Orange County Sheriff's Department, but the community at large. As I mentioned, we have several division commanders here who can speak to the contributions of the professional services responders in their commands, but allow me to name a few of their contributions to this department. In the Operations Support Division, PSRs assisted with the 2006 Citizens Corps disaster drill. PSR Randy Garrell works over 1,000 hours annually as a Control 1 dispatcher. At the airport, PSRs provide the airport with neighborhood watch-style patrol and traveler assistance. In the Investigations Division, PSRs provide air transportations for extraditions and recently provided air transportation for investigators and the return of Ryan Ramos from Texas. In the North Operations Division, PSRs provide mobile neighborhood watch services and assist the Hazardous Devices Unit with robotic construction and programming. In the Training Division, PSRs provide professional photographic services for academy graduations and have renovated the training website. In the Community Services Division, PSRs provide assistance with event planning, are engaged in fundraising activities on behalf of the Explorers, and resulted in the purchase of a new Explorer van, assisted with the Peace Officer Memorial renovation, and assisted with the Wilderness event and the Christmas party for underprivileged youth. We need to look at what the program represents today, not what it represented in the past. Our professional services responders this year to date have donated to the department and to Orange County nearly 14,000 hours. Hours and expertise we could not possibly pay for. The PSRs deserve this county's respect and gratitude, and speaking for the 4,200 men and women of the Orange County Sheriff's Department, I can tell you they have our heartfelt support and appreciation and respect. With that, I'd like to introduce some of the folks. If you just raise your hand when I introduce you. On the stage, we have with the PSR's George Ridley, photographer and videography, and he's working right now. Fred Arnow, does annual reports from many of our divisions. Dr. Ken Chang is active with our search and rescue, and Tim Reynolds is our pilot that assisted us in the transportation recently from Texas. We have Kathy Rutland, who is a reserve chaplain, and she is here to speak to the PSRs that she uses in her work with us, and Lloyd Rasner. He is a reserve in charge of our air squadron, and he also uses our PSRs extensively. I have Lieutenant Brent Judiche from the Professional Standards Division, Captain Ron White from South Operations, Captain Dennis DeMaio from the airport, Captain Brian Wilkerson from the Community Services Division, Captain Tim Board, the Investigations Division, Lieutenant Tom Gallivan, North Operations Division, and Lieutenant Jim Rudy from OCTA. Did I miss anybody? Steve Steve Riches from Search and Rescue.